All right, thank you. Moving on. Joe?
Thank you. Number 3, award a contract in the amount of $61,200 to Unimax Management Corp. of Romeoville, Illinois for janitorial services at Isle of LaCache Museum, the Sugar Creek Administration Center, Operations and Law Enforcement, Four Rivers Environmental Education Center, and Hidden Lakes Bait Shop for a 1-year term beginning May 1st, 2024, contract number 204. The committee did recommend 8-0, and I'll make that motion.
Second O'Gala. Previous? Mueller.
Second, Turner.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. Madam President, during Operations Committee, there was a presentation and discussion of the 2025 to 2030 Forest Preserve Capital Improvement Program, and I believe that Mr. Schultz would like to give that program to the full board this morning.
Thank you, Chairman. I know that most of you were here last week to observe this presentation, but I thought that I'd run through it again quickly, and maybe you've had some time to think about if you have any questions about it. But in this first slide, what I'm showing you is this is our current budget, our 2024 budget, which operates on the 2023 levies. And you see in the green bar there represents our operating levy. It's about 54% of the real estate taxes that we levy go toward the operation of the Forest Preserve. It does also contain some funding for small projects, purchases, or upgrades, but it represents about 79% of the overall operating cost of the district. The other areas that we receive some funding for the operating levy is through our investment income, licenses, permit fees, taxable sales, and Illinois replacement taxes. The other bar there, the blue bar, represents our capital improvement program debt levy. That's about 46% of the taxes that we levy that pay for the capital improvement program. And that's used to repay bonds that are issued for all of our land purchases, our large-scale habitat restorations, our local and regional trail construction, and Forest Preserve access developments and visitor center renovations. Bond issues are the primary source of funding for the capital improvement program, but other sources include grants and partnerships. There was a question last week about what percentage of that program is funded by grants and partnerships. We run about 10 to 15% of all of our capital improvement programs, if you aggregate them together, are funded by grants and partnerships. This bar here shows you what that total levy, both the operating levy and the CIP debt levy, the impact on different valued homes across the county. So if you had a home that was valued at $400,000, your contribution to the Forest Preserve District in your real estate tax bill is about $155.60. If you owned a $350,000 home, it's about $136 per year that you contribute to the Forest Preserve District. And if you live in a $300,000 home, it's about $116,000. Now, what I also said last week was the average home sale last year in Will County was about $321,000. And that's, again, average over the entire county. The unique position that you're in this year is that we are going to retire a significant amount of that CIP debt levy, about 60% of it. And that will result in a 28% reduction in the 2024 levy for the 2025 budget, all other things being equal. So the assessor hasn't come and changed the assessment on your house. Nothing's changed. Everything's equal, just using those numbers. So it's at times like this when our board has chosen in the past to fund or invest in the capital improvement program by issuing new bonds to preserve land and complete the large-scale habitat restoration and trail construction projects, and doing so without raising taxes. And so what could that potentially, what could that investment potentially look like today? So using that $300,000 home, again, I said this year they're contributing $116.70 to the Forest Preserve District. This board could issue $150 million in bonds to fund a capital improvement program and not have a property tax impact at all on that home. Again, all things being equal, they would still pay $116.70 in 2025. If this board chose to issue $100 million in bonds, you can drop that cost to near $100, a little bit more than $100 for an investment in the Forest Preserve District on the real estate tax bill, but $100 million investment by this board in the communities of the county. And with an $80 million investment, you could drop that property tax cost to that $300,000 homeowner to under $100. So we looked at what an $80 million capital improvement program would provide, would look like for the Forest Preserve District. It would still provide taxpayers a 16% reduction in their overall Forest Preserve levy and paying less than $100 a year on a $300,000 house. With that, the Forest Preserve could dedicate half of that, $40 million, to preserve 1,500 to 2,000 acres in perpetuity, owned by the Forest Preserve, owned for the people. We could dedicate $20.5 million to make critical regional and trail connections, provide new points of access into nature, and enhance our visitor centers. And we could also dedicate about $19.5 million to restore 2,500 acres of habitat for clean water, clean air, and increased biodiversity. Last month, I presented to you a product of our Citizens Advisory Committee, or your Citizens Advisory Committee, and they had completed their land preservation plan, which is a document that they routinely go in and update about once a decade. So it was time for them to review that. And what that plan really did was it shows the areas of focus based on the mission of the district, based on the land that's available, based on different types of pressures that we're seeing in different areas as far as land development and land use changes, and says if you're going to acquire properties, we believe they should be in these focus areas, these specific areas, because they line up with what your goals for protecting nature and getting people into nature are. And so the land acquisition program, based on that survey that they did, would focus on our past preservation efforts in the DuPage River, Jackson Creek, Spring Creek, and Plum Creek greenways, along with the southwestern part of the county, which is very natural resource rich. They, in their focus areas, in their plan, they identified about 12,000 acres that are in those focus areas. Keep in mind that with $40 million, you can only acquire potentially up to 2,000 acres. So you're making a dent in it, and that never is a point of the Citizens Advisory Committee to say you need to go and buy those 12,000 acres. They're just saying if you've got money to spend it somewhere in these 12,000 acres. With that $20.5 million investment in the capital improvement program for trail access and facility improvements, we would be able to complete the DuPage River Trail connection, Weber Road connection, which is a project you initiated engineering on a couple of months ago, but we would now have the funds to actually do the construction. We'd also be able to complete the Wolf's Road crossing trail connection. That's one which you also have initiated engineering on, and that's linking the entire city of Aurora and the Fox River system to the city of Naperville and Plainfield and the DuPage River system. Very short trail, complicated, but we'd have the funding to complete the work. It should be noted we've already received a grant for that project in advance of even getting to construction. You'd be able to complete the Riverview Farmstead Loop Trail and amenities. This is an extension of the DuPage River Trail at Riverview Farmstead, which is on the northern end of Plainfield and the very south end of Naperville. You'd be able to complete the Veterans Memorial Trail to Lamont, to the Cook County line. You'd also be able to complete the Veterans Memorial Trail south from Spring Creek Greenway to US Route 6. You'd be able to complete the Forked Creek Greenway Trail from the Wauponsee Glacial Trail to possibly Forsyth Woods, somewhere near Forsyth Woods. You'd be able to complete the first access in our Jackson Creek Greenway, which is a project that we've been doing some extensive land acquisition in over the course of the last probably 5, 6, 10 years. You'd also be able to complete some enhancements to the Wauponsee Glacial Trail from Laraway Road to Hoff Road to improve accessibility. Our goal there is really the Village of Manhattan and improving access for those residents moving through from Manhattan north into Joliet and south through town. We'd also be able to complete renovations at our Plum Creek Nature Center, which is our first nature center. It last underwent a renovation in 2002, so that's kind of some of those interior spaces and exhibits are kind of dated, out of date, and in need of renovation. And then you'd also be able to reserve some funding for trail partnership matches across the county. As you know, we like to participate in partnership with our local municipalities and park districts. And March. So whenever we can, when we can help them make connections to our regional trail system, we try to facilitate that. Sometimes it's financially, sometimes it's with staff, sometimes it's with land purchases, but mostly it's on a financial basis where we can contribute to their project to make it happen. Oh.
Ralph, can you tell us which of these trails are used by the equestrian community?
Sure. Right now, the Wauponsee Glacial Trail is used by the equestrian community, as well
Which
as
one? I
the
couldn't hear
Wauponsee
you.
Glacial Trail, number 8.
Number 8? Okay.
Yeah. Well, and then not really the Veterans Memorial Trail, but it connects to the Spring Creek Greenway Trail, and I make a reference to Spring Creek in there. And so that one, Spring Creek Greenway Trail. The others are all asphalt surfaces.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. And then lastly, habitat reconstruction and natural area restoration, about $19.5 million. Riverview Farmstead, that teaming up with that trail development project, we could restore 250 acres there. Jackson Creek, in partnership with that trail and access development, restore about 250 acres there. I gave an example last week. I said if you're familiar with Hadley Valley or you're familiar with Prairie Bluff Preserve, that's the type of development that we're going for, where it's a restoration and a trail combined and built at the same time. Forked Creek Preserve is partially under restoration now. You'd be able to complete that with another 160 acres of restoration. Goodenow Grove, now we're getting into some of the existing natural areas that would be enhanced. About 200 acres there. McKinley Woods, 350 acres. The Plum Valley Ravines out in Crete Township, about 550 acres could be impacted. Sandridge, Savannah on the southwestern part of the county in the Braidwood area. Braidwood, Wilmington, 400 acres. Hamel Woods on the west side of Joliet, about 200 acres. And then there would be various habitat restorations that completed on about another 150 acres on properties that were recently acquired adjacent to some of our restored or natural areas. And so then we threw in a map there to kind of give you an idea. Well, my map's not coming up. Maybe. I'm stuck. It's on my screen. Well, there's a map in your packet. Oh, there it is. Okay, there it is. So it's a little bit difficult to see, I know, up on the screen, but the map in your packet in your agenda packet will be a little bit better to read. But we tried to show on here the distribution of the projects, both the proposed projects as well as the existing projects. So we do have several current existing projects that we're doing in our capital improvement program. And as I've noted before, the funds in our existing program are all allocated or dedicated to these last few projects. The first one is up at Hidden Oaks Nature Center in Bolingbrook, where we're doing some renovations there. We're making some enhancements at the Isle of Lakash in Romeoville. We're doing work at Lake Shamanwood to make a connection between Lake Shamanwood Preserve and the I&M Canal State Trail. We're also making some improvements down at Four Rivers Environmental Education Center. And then lastly there's two more. One, we've received funding to create a connection between the proposed Route 53 trail and the Waponsie Glacial Trail. It's shown right in the middle of the map in District 6. And then we're also doing work on the Plum Creek Greenway Trail out in Cree Township. So that's what that $80 million program looks like. As far as land acquisition on this map, those pink areas or dark pink areas, those were the focus areas identified by the by the Citizens Advisory Committee. So those would be the areas that we would be targeting for acquisition. There was a question, what if a piece of property came up and it was outside of those focus areas, but it was worthy of preservation? You have total control over all of that. So we would bring that to you. We would first bring it to our CAC and say, does this piece of property match up? If they said yes, we would then bring it to the Finance Committee and we would say, your CAC has recommended you add this to the program. And then it could be added on then. So the focus areas, that is our primary focus, but it is malleable in that if properties come up, we can add them. So I don't know if anybody had any additional questions. We're not asking you to approve this today. In the coming months, we will be going back to committee with a couple of different items for approval.
Ralph, the parcel that's on the right side of the map, which would be east and northeast there, I can't really read it. Which project is that?
Is it by the big
It's in the
number
corner.
10? By the 10?
In the corner. I'm assuming that's the northeast corner.
Which district, Julie? 10?
It's the farthest east, so it's like the middle square. Yeah, is that Crete? I can't read it.
Farthest east?
3, 4, 11.
Okay, yeah, it's District 3.
Okay.
And see in the corner there, it's right, it
Yeah.
seems to be on the border of Will
Right.
County.
That's Plum Valley Ravines.
Okay,
that's a
which is
habitat
gorgeous.
restoration.
It's just stunning. It takes me like an hour and 20 minutes to drive there. It's incredibly far away. But is that Cook County and?
Cook County on the north,
Okay.
Indiana on the east.
So my question is, that looks like it's probably an incredible property. Is there something on the Cook County side adjacent to that you can work with them, collaborate with them to preserve an even greater area? Do you
There-
ever do that?
There actually is, and it exists. It's called Plum Creek Preserve in Cook County. It's about 3,500 acres, I think, is what they have there. So it's a pretty significant chunk.
So if we proceed with this,
Mhm.
our preserves will be touching?
Correct. And in some places, they already do. So there are some points where they actually do.
So when that happens, do we have some type of an agreement with them? Because I would imagine issues or events could roll over, right, from our county into their county. How do
Yeah.
you handle that?
So typically, we would do those through intergovernmental agreements, and mostly what those tend to be are either we're working separately but coordinated in a restoration, or we're working together to make a trail connection. where the trail might originate in their preserve and extend down into ours. We would still be responsible for our portion, but the actual connection of those two would be via an intergovernmental agreement.
And I know about 2 months ago, there was a piece of legislation pushed forward, and I don't remember the number,
Okay.
that indicated that intergovernmental agreements, Will County employees could not operate in Cook County.
Oh.
Are you aware of that legislation? I can look it up, but
I'm not actually.
Okay,
I mean, not that we
I'll-
do. We have a management agreement with several Cook County entities for the Old Plank Road Trail. So we manage it in cooperation. But as far as actually physically working in there, we don't. Yeah, we don't.
okay, so far that hasn't impacted your operation. And what about like security? If, Tracy, do you work with Cook County?
We do. We partner with the surrounding Forest Preserve Police Departments through Illinois Park Law Enforcement Association. So we work together the best we can to police the same way.
Thank you. I lost my spot online here, but I believe there was a report provided. I just lost it. Permit summary, thank you, yes. That report was provided, and also our next meeting date is scheduled for May 2nd, 2024 at 9 a.m., right here at this building, and that concludes our report. Thank you.
Good morning, Madam President. There is, I do not think, anything to report at this time, so to be continued. Be announced when needed.
To turn on my microphone. I just wanted to point out a couple of things that were left on your desks in front of you. The first is our 2023 annual report, again, in a new and different and fun format. So if you ever want to know what we did back in 2023 and what it looks like going into 2024, we try to give you a glimpse of both. So it does contain any of the projects that we're working on or the initiatives that we'll introduce in 2024. The other is an updated map and guide. This shows you all the preserves, trails, and activities that the Forest Preserve has to offer across the entire county. We update this every now and again, but I'd say probably on about a 4-year rotation. We just update it because obviously we continue to build trails and preserve land, and we want to be able to get people to the right place at the right time. That's all I had.
Comments by any commissioners? Jackie?
Good morning, everyone. The first quarter goose chase has ended, and I lost the one contest I was trying to win because I knew I wasn't going to make the whole thing. What the heck preserve was it with the bridge? It wasn't Fort Creek. My other guess was Waponsie Glacial. What was it? Do you know which picture?
I have to be honest, I don't know.
I'll show you the picture later.
Okay, you show me the picture later, and I'll tell you where it was.
No, it's over. It was one of those things where you had to guess it, and they weren't going to tell you if you were right or wrong until the quarter's goose chase was over, and if you were wrong, they were going to take away your points. Because you got so many points for answering, and it was a really high point one. It was 10 points, I think. Or maybe you got 10 for just answering. But at any rate, I didn't make it. I got to go get the numbers for the next goose chase so I can get started. The weather is better. It's time to get out. I actually went out to Thorn Creek this time, met Commissioner Newquist out there for a separate reason. I love the new booklet. This seems different. The colored paper maybe and the colored ink really makes a difference.
Produced by by them.
Okay, yes, and I was out there on a Saturday and it was open and I got to walk into the old church and wander around and meet one of the volunteers. And then I walked all the way out on the trail, all the way out to whatever that little pond is out there. Wandered around the pond until I got to the part where it was so flooded I couldn't move any further. No, I did not, it was a nice day, but I did not swim. But it was beautiful, and I know you had taken us out to that preserve on a tour, but we didn't get out of the vehicle.
Right.
And this time I got to get out and wander through the woods and see all the little wildflowers.
Good.
And I did go on the Women's Walk and the Wildflower Walk this last month. Both were amazing. Can't wait to go on another wildflower one. Maybe there's one tomorrow and I just have to check it out, but yeah, really marvelous. Thank you, Ralph.
Yes, thanks for participating.
And let the staff know how much I love everything they do.
I think they just heard.
Thank you, Jackie. Joe?
Thank you. Just to let everyone know that there was an article in my hometown newspaper that I opened up yesterday, and it was describing our native plant sales, which are always a good time. One thing I would like to add, though, is it was nice to see the photo in the newspaper. It was nice to see that someone that works for the Forest Preserve that consistently wears suits and ties actually put on an apron and got his hands dirty, so. So I just want to let everybody know, that the native plant sales really helps us out, and I've purchased things before, and they actually, I've managed to keep them alive for the last few years, so thank you for that, and good luck on this year's sales, so.
Thank you. Micah?
Thank you. So at the Operations Committee, I mentioned that I had attended a Plainfield East event called the MIFCA Challenge, also known as the Soapbox Speeches. It was a civics speech competition with several high schools, and a student from Plainfield East actually won. His speech was on cleaning up his parks in his area, and I have reached out to them with both Ralph and Annette's blessing, and the young man is very interested in coming, and so I'll be giving that information to Ralph, and he can contact them and hopefully get him in here for May or June to give his little 2 or 3 minute speech. It was very inspiring. And then I also saw a picture, we have eaglet babies, and I saw a picture of one peeking his head over. Or was that, how many do we know if we have how many?
I'm not aware of the total number.
Okay. So it was kind of exciting to see those. So, all right, that's all I have. Thank you.
Julie?
Thanks,
Micah.
Annette. And Joe, I want to let you know that I have seen Ralph on multiple occasions with dirt on his face and his hands, and he looks pretty good dirty, I have to say. So I just wanted to reinforce that. Ralph and dirt, they mix well. But Ralph, I do have a question for you. I know you can't, you don't disclose where the eagle nests are, but from my district, how close is the eagle nest that you're aware of? How close is it from my district in terms of like miles?
One of the ones that we're monitoring is probably within 8 miles.
8, and I think didn't you tell me their range is about 6 miles?
That wasn't me, so I think their range is bigger than that.
Okay, and the reason why I'm asking is because I am constantly now over in the book, the northern, the app, like on the northern boundary.
Yeah, yeah.
They're seeing them every day.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm kind of hoping that maybe there might be something in Riverview or around that area that we're not aware of.
There
What's the
could be-
possibility?
Yeah, Naperville Park District owns quite a bit of property along the rivers
But it's mostly prairie,
Yeah,
so.
I'm thinking Knock Knoll, where Knock Knoll is in that area, could be, that's nearby.
So there's a possibility, I can talk to the park district because I really want to figure this out. For
Yeah.
multiple reasons. And these are small, they're, they're young.
Okay.
So they're coming from somewhere.
Yeah.
I'll check with them
Okay,
then.
yeah.
You think that's the
Yeah,
best?
I'd reach out to their public information officer and see what she might be able to help you with.
Okay, thank you.
All right, any other comments? Okay, moving on to appointments or comments by the president. We do have an appointment to the Nature Foundation of Will County, and her name is Colleen Lyons. Is she here? No. Okay. Do we need to make a motion? Or I'm
By
gonna-
advice and consent, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
okay. Motion by Mueller, second. Costa, a roll call, please?
Dean Schlottman. Van Dyne. Ogalla. Pretzel. Butler. Newquist. Balich. Richmond. Williams. Diaz. Winfrey. Coleman. Logan. Freeman is a yes. Revis. Mitchell. Ortiz. Berkowitz. Mueller. Costa. Trainier. And President Parker.
Yes.
I have 14 again. 14?
All right, thank you. Motion carries. She is approved. Is there a presentation of awards? We do not. All right, then I will ask for a motion for adjournment. Motion Pretzel, second Berkowitz, all in favor? All right, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.